Howdy, this is MWiz, and today I'm going to be talking about CodePen and the value it has as a web development platform for up-and-coming web developers. Web development is a branch of coding that obviously has to do with building web pages using things such as HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. And CodePen's a website where people can host open source code for anyone to use, I guess with royalties attached to it if the user specifies. But yeah, CodePen is a social development environment where users can post their open source HTML, CSS, and JavaScript code for the community to use. And it's very lively and it's a very popular community that's really, really welcoming to newcomers to web development such as myself. I learned a lot in a short while from using CodePen. And today I'm going to be explaining the platform a bit and showing one of the projects that really inspired me. So CodePen is a website, like I said a second ago, where people can post their open source code. Just going to the popular tag today, it'll show what tags are particularly popular, what pens are popular today. And a pen is basically an open source project. Like, for example, there's this sofa one here where the user can change, I guess, the color scheme of this couch here. And it displays the code behind it. Here's the HTML, which is, I'm not sure completely what any of the HTML, CSS, or JavaScript means just from watching it or looking at it immediately. But this is one example of these sorts of projects available to you and things that can be found just by exploring. CodePen has a very easy to follow interface with all these different links on the side here for your profile and to find where projects are. And it even handpicks ones that you might be interested in based off of projects you've worked on in the past, which is really, really cool. And the community is very lively, so there's always new projects being made every single day, and open source, meaning you can use them, possibly with added royalties to them. But it usually recommends very, very complicated projects to you, and those ones aren't the easiest to explain, especially from a novice such as myself. I couldn't tell you what's that couch one, like what went on behind the scenes with that. It was a lot of color changing, I assume, but there's a lot of JavaScript there that I couldn't understand immediately. But a beginner project, which I understood very well and inspired me, was this simple little CSS switches guide here that was made by Abu Bakr Said, which is the man who made this project. And as you can see here, basically, let me just pull this up. It's a series of switches that change colors when they're turned from off to on. And changing the theme here can change it from green to blue. And it doesn't seem like anything particularly special, but the reason why I picked this was because without completely understanding everything that was happening here in the HTML, I could still understand the general concept of it pretty well. So here, you'll notice plenty of consistencies within the coding scheme here. This is switch, switch 1, switch, switch 2, switch, switch 3, switch, switch 4. Let me pull this up so I can better show it. Switch, switch 5, switch, switch 6, 7, and there are 7 switches down here, each one of these corresponding to it. And this isn't too much code, all things considered. This is a lot of copied code here. Like this is input checkbox, switch input. This is part of all of the switches, I believe. It's a lot of redundant code, but in reality, that's how most coding is a lot of redundant code in one place and it's very simple to follow here, even without understanding most of it. You can point to it and say, okay, switch 2, that most likely goes to this switch here. The CSS isn't too hard to follow either. Most of it's relating to color and taking an input, and it isn't too hard to understand overall. The headings to these are very simple to follow, and just a quick glance can say, oh yeah, this takes in the input, and it'll change the colors. And this is the JavaScript attached to it, which is a little bit more complicated to understand, but I think it's pretty good. And that's all I have to say about CodeGen as a platform. But thank you for watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Bye.